I am continually amazed by some of the things that I see going on with auditors. I know that at least one point, Johnny 50 was subscribed to my channel, and yet there he was out in the desert waving the DHS memo around like it meant something. I've done a lot of videos on it. I'm not going to go over it again with all the nitty-gritties. The DHS memo does not apply to the military. It applies solely to the Federal Protective Service. That's who wrote the memo. That's who it applies to, the Federal Protective Service. The DHS memo cites 41 CFR 102-74.420. That CFR relates only to GSA properties. The GSA does not own any military properties or lease any properties to the military, at least not the big bases that I'm aware of. The Department of Defense has their own funding. They have their own bases. The Department of Defense owns those bases. The Department of Defense owns Edwards Air Force Base. They own all the major bases. There might be some small military, like recruiting centers, maybe that the GSA might lease out to the military. But the big bases, the naval stations, the Air Force bases, the Army bases, those are all Department of Defense owned. They are all policed by Department of Defense, military police from the various branches. The FPS and the GSA are not in that picture. So waiving that DHS memo just showed that if you were subscribed to me, you weren't watching or understanding. And if you stopped being subscribed to me, well, I could have saved you an arrest. Oh, yeah. And Munkay's believing that he gets to resist unlawful arrest. You still don't. Again, I went over that. That's stupid. You could have tacked on more charges. You could have tacked on a lot more charges, especially if you injured one of these guys. And apparently he did, or one of the guys was injured and bleeding all over Munkay. But the guy was cool and said that he must have done it himself and not Munkay. So, I mean, I hope Munkay is smart enough to learn from this that you don't resist arrest. If you are unlawfully arrested, you let your lawyer figure it out. You let a judge say that it was an unlawful arrest. You take that, you march your happy butt down to a federal district court, and you file a claim with a federal district court, and you get paid for it. You don't get in a fight where you expose yourself to further liability. On a procedural point, if there were other people there filming, you don't talk about it, Munkay. That has got to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You're exposing whoever your backup people were to liability. You think that now that the Air Force has been made aware that they were there, you think that they're not going to be scanning their video footage, or the video footage that you're so happy to provide them? And what better way to turn just a simple stupid act of trespass into a conspiracy charge? Oh my God. You make me sad. You really make me sad. $7.95 I still don't believe is going to work. Scarily enough, though, I was looking up Appel, USV Appel, and 10 USC 2687 talks about the closure of any military installation at which at least 300 civilian personnel are authorized or employed. the realignment with respect to any military installation involving a reduction of more than 1,000 of the number of civilian personnel to be employed at such military installation. So I don't know. What I'm gonna have to do at some point, if I have time when I'm there, is I'm gonna have to spend some time at the law library trying to shepherdize or go through the USCA. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through the USCA on 18 USC 795 to see if there are any cited decisions that talk about what these vital, that defines these installations in a court, not in a statute. As far as the 1382, I believe that Mr. Freeman's also facing this one. I think Mr. Freeman had a much better shot because Mr. Freeman, I don't believe, entered the base. I believe that Mr. Freeman stayed outside of the base. I could be wrong, but my understanding of it was that Mr. Freeman wasn't dumb enough to actually go on to the base. I wish I could say the same for Munkay and Johnny 5-0. I really do wish I could say the same for him, because things get stupid and murky once you do enter a military base. You are subject to the regulations that the base commander has put on that military base. And was it Greer v. Spock? I always mix it up. It's either Spock v. Greer or Greer v. Spock. I always get that twisted in my head. But military bases are non-public forums. It doesn't matter that it's owned by the public or even open to the public. Your First Amendment rights are severely curtailed if the base commander does not allow photography on the military base. Guess what? You can't do it. So I would love to be more optimistic about this particular one. I still think, subject to me going and actually researching this at the law library, I still think that you're going to win on the 795. But you went onto the base, and it's for any purpose prohibited by law or lawful regulation, and it's lawful, according to Greer v. Spock, for the military, the base commander, to restrict First Amendment activities severely. So, yeah, anyway, I've rambled enough. I wish Johnny 5-0 and Munkay the best of luck. Hire a good lawyer. And how about you stop opening your mouth. Don't open your mouth anymore until you talk to a lawyer. Because you probably thought that you were being awesome and amazing by telling the MPs that there were more of you that they didn't find. But God, that's stupid. I'm sorry. Hate me if you want to, but that was stupid. Have a good day.